Okay, well, I just did a 30-minute video, which my phone just ate somehow. It's not on my phone, it's gone. I love technology. I love to live in this modern time. Technology. Like, I've spent like probably cumulative years of my life waiting for terrible technology to like load. And then, I don't know. It's just so much like so much terrible technology, just like because it's not built for us, like none of this, the technological age is not meant to help regular people, so they don't care if it works for us, like as long as we just keep buying the crap. um anyway, Samsung Galaxy, my first smartphone, and it's the stupidest piece of shit I've ever like encountered in my life. So anyway, gonna talk about, or I'll talk again, give this whole video again. I just saw this video, the Vanguard embroiled, all caps, embroiled in Jimmy Dore versus Ryan Grimm beef, all caps, addressing all the drama, all caps. I don't know what it is with people in the friggin' all caps. I mean, I guess Jimmy Dore does that too in his video titles, but these guys are so lame, they should just not have videos or titles. So anyway, they did a softball interview of, they did an interview of Ryan Grimm, which their viewers considered softball because he's like, I mean, Ryan Grimm has basically made himself an enemy of the far left in the last like 6 months, or I don't know, basically this year. And the Vanguard has positioned themselves as the vanguard of the far left. I mean, it's literally their name. And so there's all these people that follow them. They're waiting for some hardcore leftist stuff. I joined them because of Jimmy Dore. He said they were cool. And so, he's pretty radical. So I thought, okay, must be radical. But, and, they're radical for being shit libs, I guess you could say. They're radical, like they're trying to position themselves like, just to the like, they're trying to position themselves like somehow on some fence between far left and centrist shit lib. I don't know. I guess, I mean, somewhere the shifting ground of like the space that was occupied by like Kyle Kalinske and maybe used to be occupied by the Young Turks. But they got called out because by their fans for doing this, for being too chummy with Ryan Grimm, and also maybe especially for trashing Jimmy Dore during the interview, because Jimmy Dore has been in conflict with Ryan Grimm because Ryan Grimm was, shit living and turning against Force the Vote and turning against the left. Jimmy was calling him out because he will call out anybody who does that. So anyway, they were like basically taking Ryan Grimm's side in the interview, even though they're supposedly friends with Jimmy, and Jimmy did more for their channel than I think like almost anybody else, or maybe anybody else. He gave them basically I heard he basically doubled their membership when he promoted them. So anyway, they were trashing Jimmy Dore with total bad faith, like criticism, and acting like that, I mean, they were kind of both sidesing the thing between him and Ryan Grimm, but they're also trying to buddy up to Ryan Grimm. And they were saying, like, yeah, Jimmy, I mean, he says, like, you know, like they were sensitive because Jimmy was sending them, like, super chats for questions to ask Ryan Grimm that were, like, tougher questions. And they didn't want to ask those questions. So he spent, like, $40 in super chats, and they still wouldn't, like, say his questions. Like, only one of them they read out loud, and they still wouldn't even ask it. They just watered it down into something totally different. You know, it was a question about Syria, and they turned it into a question about Twitter beefs. So, like, that was Jimmy's main critique of it, was just saying, why aren't you, like, asking my super chat questions that he paid money to ask? And anyway, so their video got ratioed, and, like, they got 1 million comments against them and people unfollowing them and stuff. And then but even still, like, Jimmy was holding back and saying and just praising them, actually. Like, he did a video and he was showing all this, but he's actually, like, he was focusing on the few good questions that they asked to Ryan Grimm, and saying, yeah, I love these guys, they're great and everything. And so they come back with a video trashing Jimmy Dore, like, taking all the anger their fans directed at them for not being who they had presented themselves as, and then just deflecting it all at Jimmy, who had just been nice, like, so nice to them and through all this, and acted like it was Jimmy that's attacking them in some terrible way when he was actually doing the opposite. So they just had that meltdown video where they just doubled down, like, or triple, quadrupled down, and told Jimmy off. And then they changed the title. It was like, Jimmy's canceling us, or we're getting canceled, or something. And then they took that out of the title. And then eventually, and then that got ratioed to hell and got 1 million comments against them. So then they deleted that video and they put up this one, which is the same video, basically. It's just them doing the same thing, doubling down and talking more shit about Jimmy and pretending that Jimmy's attacking them. Like, these guys are crazy. Like, it's very much Kyle Kalinske energy. It's very Anna Kasparian energy. Like, especially the beardy guy, Zach, like, when he had his total meltdown about Jimmy this and Jimmy that. In both these last videos, it's him that really went on the anti-Jimmy like, rant. And I think he's the one who said that he genuinely watches and enjoys Vosh. Anyway, I don't know, but I know they both like Kyle Kalinske a lot, and it's a lot like when Kyle Kalinske melted down and said he would want to beat the living shit out of Jimmy if he said some comment about his girlfriend's skirt or something, because he was simping for Kyle was simping for Anna Kasparian. And so again, it was a total like it's just these people that are just going insane. Or when Anna Kasparian went against Aaron Mate, like that meltdown that kind of started a lot of this, where she just like melted down, flipped off the camera, like cussed him out and everything. That's like the same energy as Kyle and these Vanguard people. Just like, this is like a little tantrum of like, yeah. So so it's good to see, you know, people ratioing them. Like, this video they have 753 likes and 1.8 thousand dislikes. So that's like over twice the amount of dislikes. That might be like 3 times. Anyway, so that's pretty hardcore ratio. Like, all the comments are against them. Almost all the live chat things that I see here were against them. there was a couple super chats that were supporting them, but it seemed like it was like their mom or something. Like, I don't know, like their mom and like their brother, and like it seemed like they all had the same last name or something. I don't know who it was, but mostly everybody's against them. So anyway, this is good if we can, you know, determine who's evil at least. Like it's a tall order to find out who you can trust. Maybe there's nobody you can trust. Maybe there's nobody that's completely good or even prevailingly good. I don't know. Hopefully there are, but at least we don't want to be simping for and following and trusting people who are evil. And these people are pretty evil, you know, like if you can do this, it's good that we see it now, like when the stakes are low and this is just about feelings and, you know, YouTube conflict. I mean, not that these issues don't matter, but I'm saying like it's better to find out now that these people are not trustworthy because, but you know, guaranteed that if they have this little like of a conscience or this little of ethics, it's gonna you know, it's going to affect other things much more dire, you know, much more important things down the road. So it's actually a godsend that we can identify all these people, all the Kyle Kalinskis, all the Vanguards, all the Young Turks, and you know, like I think there's a lot of the YouTube world has taken that side and done some variation of what those shitlibs have done. But you know, so that's good. But I think also like this is, you know, I want to make another plea for more followers and stuff just because we need more like radical YouTubers. Like we can't just rely on Jimmy, you know, because Jimmy's one guy that puts too much pressure on him and it's too dangerous, you know, to have everything dependent on one person or one show. You know, we should have a whole constellation of, you know, radical populist leftist YouTubers, just like all these pretend populist leftist YouTubers like the Vanguard and Kyle Kalinske and the Young Turks. They have their constellation. I mean, they have like the Young Turks network, so YouTube like helps them in the algorithms and stuff. So we're like, you know, it's an uphill battle, but I mean, I would love to know about other, you know, I've tried to follow other YouTubers that have taken the right sides on these things, and you know, like this might seem like all a bunch of petty drama, but at the end of the day, like if you can use stuff like this to identify who you can trust and who you can't trust, then this could be indispensable. This could be life-saving, you know, this could be make or break, because that's the work that needs to be done. You know, we need to figure out who, at the very least, find out who we know we can't trust. And that definitely includes the Vanguard, Kyle Kalinske, and, you know, a lot of people that have, you know, said the same type of nonsense that they've said. But it is, I mean, again, I'm just grateful to Jimmy for like producing these meltdowns, because otherwise we wouldn't know how like shitty these people are. You know, I mean, not that I ever thought that Kyle Kalinske was so great, or not that I even would have known about the Vanguard without Jimmy, but still, I think like it's a great service. People like Jimmy, who just by being themselves naturally trigger shitlibs and pseudo progressives into like melting down and showing all their true colors. Like that's invaluable. Like, so yeah, like not only is this stuff not irrelevant, this could be some of the most important and consequential, you know, you know, these are some of the most consequential potentially some of the most consequential things happening that can happen is figuring out who's who, and if you can really, find all the cool people in the world that are down comrades, and separate them from all the shit libs and all the CIA assets and FBI informants and all those people, then you'll be further ahead than pretty much any movement in history, because that's usually what is the downfall of movements, is all this sabotage that happens. So let's see what else I was gonna say. Biden continues to be evil. The shit libs continue to be evil. One thing about just in general about politics, my politics, is I believe that Trump and Biden are in cahoots. I think that they work together, that this whole Trump derangement syndrome was just something that Trump was hired by the government to create that, that it's a way so all these right wingers and, neocons and stuff can be it's just classic. It's as old as time, having a fake foil, having it's like the scumbag who is into a girl, so he asks her to take a walk with him, pays $50 to some guy on the street to attack her, and then he defends her and therefore wins her over. And that might work because a lot of people don't suspect that people could be that evil, but certainly naive in the case of politics, because that's as old as time. Creating Trump certainly was friends with all those Democrats. He was friends with the Clintons, who built the modern Democratic Party, the Reagan Democrats. He was their shining leader. So and that was back when he was hanging out with Trump, hanging out with Epstein. So Trump and Biden are the same, and anybody who supports one of them supports the other one. And people who claim that they support one of them but they don't like the other one have a mental disorder, because to not see that they're the same guy is just you have to, I don't know. I believe you have to be willfully ignorant to not see that they're the same guy, and that they have, basically the same beliefs on everything, the same history on a lot of stuff, and that ultimately everything that they do has the same outcome. And honestly, I don't even know if they had to go to those lengths to do all this, because this is a way they were able to rehabilitate Bush and Cheney and stuff, because they could say oh, here's our bad guy actor, reality TV guy, he's the bad guy, so therefore everybody who's against him is good. And then they bring out all these people and they say, all right, so say something about how Orange Man bad, and then CNN will rehabilitate you. And not one person thinks, oh, maybe this is a setup. Maybe, maybe all these super powerful, super evil people, maybe this is the plan, that Trump is basically exists just to rehabilitate all these people, just as a foil to make them look good, to play bad cop. So, I mean, I guess there's the possibility that somehow this is not the case and that it just works out this way in every single instance. But it certainly works out this way in every single instance. And I think this is the case because, the Clintons told Trump to run. Trump worked with Epstein. Clinton worked with Epstein. They're CIA. Like Epstein, a lot of people think Epstein was some random pervert. No, Epstein was a CIA agent, and CIA agents traffic children. That's what the CIA does. Like that's why Snowden left, because they were trying to get him to get into this shady blackmail business of trying to, get prostitutes and minors and whatever to blackmail people. That's how they control the world, is because they get dirt on people. And yeah, I mean, Epstein was like a go-between between Israel, like Mossad, Israeli military intelligence, MI6, CIA, FBI, NSA, and FSB or whatever it's called, like the Russian intelligence. So I mean, I think the Cold War was a sham, because it seems that Epstein, like Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, he was basically an agent for Israel, Britain, and Russia. And so were some of the Rothschilds, or at least one of the Rothschilds in Britain. So, I mean, I think there's a good chance, like, there was never really a Cold War. There was just, like, that at the top levels, it was just people like Maxwell, the Maxwells and Epsteins controlling both sides, and the Rothschilds and whatever controlling both sides, and then they just were able to use it in both Russia, in both the Eastern Bloc and throughout the West and the rest of the world. They were able to use it to clamp down on freedom and as an excuse to kill anybody they don't like, and et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, I just think, and again, maybe that's not true, and that it was just a total coincidence that there's all these top double agents, not even necessarily double agents, but just people who worked for both MI6 and Russia, so maybe that's all a coincidence, but at the very least, that's how it worked out. The way it worked out was that basically the Soviet government and the U.S. government have worked together to keep going. They worked together to keep going this conflict that just helped them both clamp down on any kind of freedom or any kind of rights for their own citizens and their own, basically, subjects of their empires. So I think, but anyway, I think that's the same thing as the Democrats and Republicans, and Trump is CIA. Like, I mean, if anybody doubts what I'm saying, that Epstein was CIA, Epstein was intelligence, just Google it. It's very publicly available, and I think people just don't want to know because they don't want to realize that their tax dollars rape children. If you live in the U.S., your tax dollars rape children, and if you support the U.S. government, you rape children, essentially. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a terrorist organization, and yeah, Biden, Trump. If you notice, like, everything bad Trump did, Biden kept. Like, all the new laws that Trump did that people were like, oh no, he's such a right winger. Well, as soon as Biden got in, he basically ratified all of those. And then everything good that Trump did, like supposedly making insulin cheaper, Biden undid. So, or Trump was trying to withdraw troops from Afghanistan earlier. Trump undid it, and Biden yeah, like Trump was trying to do that. Biden undid it and pushed it out till later. So yeah, everything good. It's like they're just good cop, bad cop. Um, and it's just amazing that at the very least, like everybody should suspect or should wonder if they're working together, because in virtually every single instance of the last 4 years, that's what effectively has happened. They have effectively helped each other. Um, so anyway, I'll just end it there. But we need, we need people to wake up. We need socialism. We need democracy. We need revolution. We might need secession. I don't know. We need some kind of country that, like, some polity or government or lack or area with a lack of government. Like, we need some place that people are not being controlled by evil terrorists. So I don't know if California, I'm in California, maybe we should secede. Maybe we need a national, international revolution. I don't know how we can get voters I don't know how we can get the country with us, because we've been trying so hard, and they won't even support Howie Hawkins, even when they live in a safe state like California. Like, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the average people, honestly, are just as bad as the overlords. Unfortunately, a lot of people have, at best, they just don't care about injustice. But somehow those of us who do care, we have to combat it, and we have our work cut out for us. Anyway, all right, so solidarity, and take care.